For our live from Pasadena media studios. Get ready for more piercing and provocative. The Conversation Live starts now. Two friends. And welcome to another episode of The Conversation Live. The Conversation Live focuses on social justice, restorative justice, inclusion, and equality. Today we're going to unpack and have a very critical and uncomfortable conversation. Today, joining me live in studio is the founder of Black Lives Matter Pasadena, Miss Jasmine Abdullah. I've wanted to talk with Jasmine for quite some time. We want to unpack her story. I want to learn about her upcoming summer program for youth, also talk about some of her advocacy, but really I want to know what her legacy looks like. But first, let's meet Jasmine. Jerry, go ahead and roll in this package and Jasmine will join us on the other side of this.
Hey, my name is Jasmine Richards. I'm with Black Lives Matter Pasadena. I'm an organizer. I'm the founder of Black Lives Matter Pasadena. Black Lives Matter Pasadena is actually located 15 minutes away from Los Angeles. We're right up the hill northwest. I started Black Lives Matter Pasadena in January of 2015. The reason for this is because I felt like we didn't have any community programs or anything happening in my community. And there's been a lot of youth that have been killed by the Pasadena police. Kendrick McDade is currently the youth that I'm specifically doing all these actions around. Leroy Barnes, he was killed by the Pasadena police. Big homie named Big B.A., also killed by the Pasadena police. Our police have been notorious for bullying. Since I was a child, these police have scared me. They've harassed me, they scared me. I know their first and last names. I felt like we needed a group out here that stood up to that injustice instead of all of us being scared and just wasting our time and not organizing and sitting at the park without any programs to help us. I felt like I should do something.
And welcome back. And do something she did. Jasmine, thank you so much for joining me, sis. What's happening with you?
How you doing, Brother Farr? Thank you for having me.
I'm good. You know, I'm gonna break my formalities and I'm just gonna talk to you. We're gonna chop it up and just, you're doing something and we wanna make sure we use our time wisely today. Many people experience you like online, like that's kind of how they know Jasmine. They see your social media. They may even see you out at events. But I remember, I was trolling you. I ain't gonna keep it 100 with you. I was trolling, but not in a bad way. Like I was just watching how you moved and I saw you out there with these little kids, babies no older than 7 or 8 or whatever. And you were talking to them about Dr. Martin Luther King and peace and nonviolence. And that was a side, I couldn't find that video because I really wanted to show it today. I think people don't see enough of that of you. You have a program that you're starting, you're working with. It's probably about your third or fourth summer doing it with the kids.
Third.
Freedom School.
Yes.
What's Freedom School?
Freedom School is a place where I started at La Pintoresca Park. I have all the kids, doesn't matter which age, up to 22 years old. They come to the park and talk about what it feels like being young and black, and what can we do better to show up for them. And it's just a safe space for them to talk about them, something that they never get. We take them on field trips. Since I have all this social capital and I have people trolling me like yourself, what I do is I get folks to donate towards those field trips because I know that it's a financial burden for families to take their kids on trips. So last summer we were able to take kids on like 7 trips: Magic Mountain, Knott's Berry Farm, Speed Zone, Sky Zone, all those different zones. And it was really awesome to be able to see the kids step out of their communities and be able to be kids again. So that's what Freedom School is. It's a place where kids can be kids, black kids.
One of the things I saw you take them 2 places and I thought that was like dope in the sense of enrichment. You took them to the Octavia Butler exhibit down at the Huntington Library, and you took them to the Mocha Museum. What was it like for those kids to be in that space? I mean, the Huntington is a pretty big, prestigious place that maybe not a lot of kids go to. How are the kids experiencing that?
Well, they were really excited. They didn't even know that the Huntington exhibit, they didn't even know that who he was and that place was down there. So for them to just get that was awesome. But for them to see Octavia Butler was a black woman, and they're a black woman, and see all
from Pasadena.
Yeah, from Pasadena, and see all the similarities. it was awesome to see their eyes open up and to see them dream big, and to see Amari say, I can do that too, because she's an artist as well. And so that was a really awesome thing about it, just to see all the kids, the girls, the young black girls, be happy about Octavia Butler being from Pasadena, and that they seen themselves in her. So having, what is it called? Having somebody who looks like you in a space like you is very important.
Absolutely. I mean, it may be hard to be what you can't see. You know what I mean? It may just be an idea at that point, but if you can see it, it's definitely, will empower you to at least go after it. I know people are often asking how to support you in the organization and the programs with the kids that you work with. So, how can people get in touch with you? How can they support you?
If people would like to get involved or in touch with me, they can go on my personal Facebook page, Jasmine Richards Abdullah, or you can go on the Black Lives Matter Pasadena group page. And from there, we have ways that you can get involved.
Okay, and some of the ways that they can support is helping out with the field trips, helping out with some, maybe possibly supplies.
Yeah.
Just daily things to help the program flow a little bit more smoothly. What, I guess we're kind of thinking, what is the most significant gift you've received from someone in the public, support that you've received?
Well, the most significant gifts, this one lady actually let me use her cabin for a self-care trip. So that was like the most important. I mean, that was really awesome for me. But just seeing an outcry of people coming out and carpooling, that's been like the most support, and that's been awesome. Just to see the kids interact with different folks, white people, black people. The more people that are involved with the youth, the more people that they see care. So I would ask people to come out and utilize your time if you have time. Come be a driver, come be a chaperone. We need folks to come with pizza, food, things like that, because I know that it's during the summertime, my mom used to go to work all day. I was responsible for my own dinner and my own lunch. So therefore, what we want to do is be responsible for those kids' lunch and dinner. So we offer lunch and dinner. So if you could help out with that, that'd be awesome.
Okay. Now I know the kids that you work with, like you said, they range all the way up to age 22, and if anyone is following you through your social media, I mean, you document Pasadena police at every chance that you get. How are the kids that you work with, like, how are they impacted? Because we see these officers in the park a lot, and it don't look like they come in there to jump rope with them, So how's that affecting them?
Well, like you see on my live feed, when the police come into the park, the kids leave. And so that's why I jump on live feed, and I call it Cop Watch, because I know that I have a lot of social media followers. So I want people to see around the world what Pasadena police are doing to us. And if you can, actually call down to the police department at that specific time and tell them what you see. Because it's important that we all be on the same narrative, that the Pasadena police is running these children out of the parks and there's no other programs for them to go to. So when you run them out of the park, what happens? They get in trouble. So that's how they're impacted by it. They're running to the wrong things. I
mean, you're a surrogate mother to a lot of these young people. I mean, you refer to them as your babies.
Yeah.
And I mean, you go hard like Mama Bear, like you don't want to be on the wrong side of it. Let me check and let people know what they're watching. You're watching The Conversation Live. The Conversation Live focuses on social justice, restorative justice, inclusion, and equality. My guest today is the founder of Black Lives Matter Pasadena, Miss Jasmine Abdullah, and we're unpacking her story. She just shared with us a little bit of information about her Freedom School, which happens this summer, and how you can support. I said earlier I want to talk a little bit more about her advocacy, and Jared, go ahead and cue up the second video, and this is probably, I think, when Jasmine and I probably first really had our first meeting. So let's roll this in and we'll jump back into conversation with Jasmine.
Now, I know we out here mourning, I know we out here angry, but this is what being too black, too strong looks like. It look like standing out here, that's resilience. That's called resistance. Loving on this family is called black love, black resilience, black resistance. This is what it looks like to be black and love each other. This is what it looks like. I love you. We are here for you. Say his name. 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 If
That's where I think I really met Jasmine and met your passion. And I wanted to be careful about even introducing this because I know that is still a very fresh wound, if you will, very traumatic and situation. Why do you go so hard, Jasmine?
Man, I'm sorry. That made me cry. I go so hard because, man, this is my community. This is where I'm from. J.R. Thomas was my friend. You know what I mean? Like, that was my real friend. And before he died, he actually said, Jasmine, you keep doing that Black Lives Matter shit that you're doing, okay? Because we see you. And so that's why I go so hard, because if we don't do it for each other, who's gonna do it? This is where I'm from. This is the city that I love, you know, that I learned all of my characteristics, that I learned all of my loyalty, all of what makes me me. And so that's why I go so hard, because JR's kids is now without him. Moo, which is Patricia, I took her to a city council meeting like 3 weeks ago, and she actually wrote a letter. I told her to write what she wanted to say. And she wrote to the city council how the Pasadena police watches her, how she's scared for her life, how they took the only man in her life that she loves. You know what I mean? And for a kid, and he was a very good father. He was a very good father. And for his kids to not know him anymore and know that he's never coming home, that just hurts me. And so I vowed to fight. I vowed to fight for Kendrick McDade, because if you listen to Anya Slaughter, if you listen to Kendrick McDade's mother, you would want to fight too. Because not only did she lose her son, but she had to learn how to write again, read again, like everything, you know, despite what happened to her, she had to do this for her other children. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like no parents, no mother, no wife, nobody should fight alone after they lost somebody. So I chose to go hard, you know, forget that.
So it was a trip to Ferguson that kind of ignited that in you. And really, I mean, you're a passionate person, you know. I think nobody would disagree with that. I think many misunderstand you. You know what I mean? Like, they don't really understand where your heart is. And so just, you know, kind of looking at the way that you show up, and this is without judgment, but is more so, do you think there's a different way that you could show up that may help people better understand and how to help you?
No. I mean, I could try to do all those respectability politics things, right? But at the end of the day, these folks don't understand anything but an angry Black woman. They don't understand nothing but rage. Mm-hmm. That's the Boston Tea Party, right? That's what America understands. It understands rage. It understands fighting. It understands, like, shutting shit down. It's not gonna understand meek, mild, and humble. Mm-hmm. We've been doing that for far too long, and where has that gotten us? Nowhere. Mm-hmm. It got us some voting rights, but that's about it. You know, so maybe we need to do what they did at the Boston Tea Party. Fuck some shit up in order for them to understand us. And so I know my rage may be a lot for some, but it makes me feel good at the end of the day.
You know, and because, you know, I mean, we've talked, I've been in some settings and situations, you know, where some people are like, oh my God, and yeah. I don't play that with you know, and I've told you, like, show up, you know, and however you show up, we welcome you into the space, you know what I mean? And that's just how I feel about it. But the whole respectability politics and making people feel comfortable, I'm not with that. You know, you disrupt and you do what you do. What's the solution? Like, but what's the outcome? Like, what do you, if you had to say, we're gonna do this and this is gonna be the measurable outcome, what does the change look like?
Oh, in Pasadena?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
let's start here first.
Start here at my home. That's awesome. There needs to be more programs specifically for Black youth, and not just kids. I'm talking about from the ages of 14 to 25, because from 18 to 22 years old, you're like still lost. You don't know shit, right? But everybody's telling you you're a grown up, so you need to get out. From 22 to 25, you're barely like you're stepping on your two, but it's like still rocky. So I would like to have a program out here. It's called The Land, and it's going to be for at-risk youth and also homeless youth. It's a cottage that they could come to, and they could get job preparation program, they could also get, that's what I'm doing on our Freedom School. And we had one kid already get a job, so it's pretty awesome.
He can stay out your pocket, right?
Right, stay all the way out my pocket. But the land is gonna be where kids come to, youth, they get job preparation, but they also get a holistic part of it. We want to rejuvenate them body, mind, and spirit, restorative justice, basically. And so for the first year, they could come stay in this program, because a lot of them are homeless. And then for the second year, they have to get a job or go to school. They have to pay rent in that program. And then they don't know though, but once they graduate the program, the rent that they pay, we're gonna give it back to them.
So, I mean, and that sounds like an excellent program, you know, but obviously getting it started has been a challenge for you in some respect. And, you know, because that kind of ties back to the whole respectability politics and stuff, and, you know, how people may perceive you, you know, or experience you. Like, and I'm just trying to see, is there a different way with not the system? Like, the system is a system. You got to dismantle that and you have to fight that. Like, I'm with that. But in terms of, like, from a community standpoint, how do we merge both sides of the streets where those with resources can meet Jasmine and help her? Like, how does that Jasmine get the help she needs?
I don't know. It takes a lot of folks to not be comfortable, because I'm not, I could come to your area, but I want you to come to my area. Come chill out over here and see what that looks like. And a lot of people, they won't do that. And so with me, I won't take your money if you're not comfortable coming to the hood. Like, I won't even take anything from the city. You know what I mean? Because the city has so many damn stipulations, you can't do anything. So I don't know how to answer that really, truthfully, Brother Farr. I don't know. Maybe the bourgeois can answer that.
I'll ask him when I see him. You know what I'm saying? But no, I mean, but like, I do know, like I said, there are people who, and I told someone, I said, I'm not a Jasmine whisperer. Like, we cool, but like, I don't know her like that. You know what I mean? It's just, I think I've built respect and rapport with her, you know, to where I said, but I don't know how. I said, talk to her. That's all I knew was to tell people. Holler at her one-on-one. But some may not know how to, you know what I mean? So I just want you to soften up a little bit. Not on the system, you know what I mean, but just kind of on
regular folks?
On the regular folks with some help, you know what I mean? Okay. Because everybody not coming for you, but check the ones that do come. You understand what I'm saying? If you feel me.
A lot of I actually do feel you, and that's what my mom tells me all the time. But I'm just like, a lot of those people, when they come to me, and tell me how to do it.
Have I ever told you how to do it?
No.
Okay.
No, you haven't. But a lot of folks, they do, and they're like, well, we need to see this, we need to see that. I'm like, well, can you come show me how to do it? Because I'm all open, my ears are open. And there is no one right way to win this revolution. You know, but I also need folks to come show me. Maybe if you come out here and help, that'd be awesome. Okay.
So people, you invite people to come down to the park and talk with the kids?
Yeah, of course.
All right. And then I know earlier, let me check in real quick and then we'll get back to it. You're watching The Conversation Live. The Conversation Live focuses on social justice, restorative justice, inclusion, and equality. Today, my very special guest, I mean, they will be under the circumstances, and as unfortunate as they are, but the history will write about this woman and the work that she's done for the advocacy of the liberation of African Americans, young people in her city. I'm joined by the founder of Black Lives Matter Pasadena, Jasmine Abdullah, and you know, we've talked about our Freedom School, you know, talked a little bit more about her advocacy. You know, I saw something else, and Jared, let's go ahead and cue up this third video, and then we'll talk a little bit more about your legacy.
Her spirit is moving me to fight you. Off with your head. Off with your head. Oh, she living in me. She living with me. She living in my spirit. She living in me. Stupid. That's the song with you white people. Y'all don't believe it. Y'all don't believe in shit. She's living in me when I move. Don't touch my fucking friend. Don't touch my friend. Don't touch my friend. I don't give a fuck, don't touch my friend. I'm not scared. I'm not scared. I already been shot in my head. I touch lead. Right here. Have you? It hurts. So you might not want to be so fast and shoot. It hurts. It hurts. Step back, boy. Follow your daddy, huh?
Cotton ball song.
But you see when them two black men walk by, he said, hey, sir. Bow down, motherfucker.
Yeah, now that's that warrior we was talking about. Now I don't know if I would have did it like that.
I'm sorry, but shit. With him, he was arrogant. He was very arrogant. With most of these police officers, all they understand is you belittling them. Because that's what they get. They like to belittle you. They like to take out, what I see with when they're dealing with a black man, they like to take all of his out of him, right? And so that's what I try to return. Mm-hmm. I would try to return the same thing you're giving my black man over there. So I'm going to deflate you. So that's what I was doing right there, deflating him. Letting him know I'm above your pay grade, letting him know that we're not scared of your gun because I've been shot before and it hurts. But if God wants you to die, you're gonna die. If he wants you to live, you're gonna live. And so that's what that was about. It's about not being fearless discipline. Mm-hmm. Boom, that's what Melina Abdullah taught me, right? To be fearless discipline.
I mean, because we talking about your legacy now. You know, that's what we saw. That's part of you. That's not your whole story. But that's part of the story. So how do you think, or how would you like to be remembered?
Well, I never really thought of that because I never really thought about being remembered, right? Because in this society, black women are never remembered. So, if anything, I just want you to see me as a freedom fighter. I love to love. You know what I mean? I love my community. I love to love.
Let me ask you, hold on. You think you're forgettable? Is that what you're saying? Like, I know you may not have processed being remembered, but do you think you're forgettable?
Yeah.
You've been seen on the internet over 8 million times across a bunch of platforms. I looked at it, well over 8 million times. You think that's forgettable in the work that you're doing? You don't think it's gonna mean something to somebody?
I don't know.
You don't think my daughter may write about? I mean, it's. I think it means a lot.
Some folks, like if somebody hit me today and said she wrote a thesis about me, then I started crying. I'm a big crybaby. For those that don't know me, I'm a crybaby. And so that made me cry, but I never thought about being remembered. I'm just thinking about the here and now, and that I just want these kids, my immediate kids, to be okay, and hopefully that leads somebody else to start doing the same thing. And maybe it's one of my kids, you know?
What are you doing for self-care? Because, I mean, you go so hard. Like, I mean, hard. What do you do to take care of yourself? Do you get to press pause?
I don't know what self-care is. Honestly, I don't. I made it to where, like, I only work with the kids Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. And during the summertime, it's going to be Saturdays. But I don't know what self-care is. Mm-hmm. I haven't had a chance to have self-care because we're black. We don't get a chance for that. You know what I mean? What is that?
We don't get that day off, but I'm saying just chill, you know what I mean? Just really pause.
I don't take days off because when I was thinking about going backpacking across the country, one of my kids went to jail and then another one got in a bad car accident, and it's like they need me there. They need a constant presence there, a foundation. So I don't take no time off.
Okay. Any message to your allies?
I need some John Brown allies. I don't know if you guys know.
I know who John Brown is.
We need some John Brown allies. We need more folks that are, I mean, it's cool to throw your money there, but we need folks that are going to step in, put their bodies on the line, you know, because at the end of the day, our bodies are on the line at all times. So that's what we needed for allies, and white allies.
White allies. And then what advice would you have for them? I mean, because, you know, often I'm sure they come to you and say, how can I help? What can I do? You know, what advice do you have for them? I mean, I know you said you want them to get in the trenches with you, but how do they help change racism?
That is such an unfair question for white people to ask black people. So I'm going to suggest that you guys join White People for Racial Justice, the San Gabriel Valley one. They actually have a group page on Facebook as well. Join their group, and they've been rocking with me since day one. They know what's up. And so they'll educate you on what white folks need to do for white folks to be able to help black folks.
Okay. And then lastly, before we get ready to get out of here, again, Jasmine, I'm grateful that you took the time, that you trusted me. You know what I mean? That on real. I mean, because I think what's important for people to understand in the audience, right, is, you know, some may think that we best friends. Others may think we don't like each other, and I think it's neither. You know what I mean? I think what we're looking at is striving for what's best for our community, best for our city, best for our children. We're going to get ready to get out of here in just a few minutes. I want to give you an opportunity to have the final thought. I know there's some things you probably wanted to share with us, and so I'm going to turn it over to you.
I just wanted to share with you guys my mantra, and this is what I live by. It's a quote by Assata Shakur. It is our duty to fight for freedom. It is our duty to win. We must love and protect one another. We have nothing to lose but our chains. And that's what I live by, and hopefully you guys will too.
Ashe. All right, folks. Jasmine, thank you so much for joining me. You're watching The Conversation Live. The Conversation Live focuses on social justice, restorative justice, inclusion, and equality. We could have done this a lot longer, and there's so much more like I really want to go into. So if can I have you back on at some point? You know, can we just chop it up? And then, you know, actually we do some other things outside of this space and in the community. Join me again next Wednesday as I have another piercing and provocative conversation. Until we have another opportunity to speak with you, as always, agape. The Conversation Live is brought to you by